In the cruise, staring at an isolated and stationary light when other visual references are inadequate or absent may cause autokinetic movement of the eyes. This gives the illusion that the light is moving and can lead the pilot to believe that a single star is another moving aircraft. This illusion can be avoided by shifting one's gaze to eliminate staring. A common problem in flight is the evaluation of the relative altitude of approaching aircraft, or the height of distant clouds or mountains. They all tend to appear to be above the aircraft, but often pass below. As we have seen, long, slow turns, as in a hold, may create the illusion of flying straight and level. Disorientation can also occur from flickering lights, such as flashing wingtip lights. The light may enter the cockpit directly, or it may reflect off clouds. This mostly distracts, but it can give the illusion of turning in the direction opposite to that of the moving shadow or light. The remedy is to close one's eyes if possible, or screen off the source of the problem, or reduce the effect by wearing dark glasses. The flying safety message in these situations is, in instrument meteorological conditions, trust your instruments. In visual meteorological conditions, look at the horizon. The approach and landing phases are the most dangerous of all the phases of flight, accounting for 73% of all accidents. Judging the glide slope or visual angle required to an airfield is easy with an instrument landing system or with precision approach path indicator lights. But without them, flying at the desired angle may be frustrated by the topography of the airfield. The actual visual appearance of the runway, its dimensions, slope and lighting are all compared with the pilot's model of an ideal runway. When he is on the glide slope, the pilot will expect to see a particular shape. If he is below the glide slope, he will see less of the runway than his ideal approach mental image. When he is higher than the glide slope, he will see more of the runway. Compared to a level runway, a downsloping runway will present a smaller image to the eyes, which gives the same impression as if one were making a low-level approach to a flat runway. Therefore, a pilot on the correct glide slope, which is normally 3 degrees to flat terrain before the runway, will have the impression that he is too low and going to undershoot. If the pilot is unaware of the slope, he may fly higher, in order to comply with the expected visual model of being 3 degrees above an assumed flat runway. He may now feel that the perceived height and approach are correct, but in fact, he is now too high. This may lead to a possible flight path that results in landing too far down the runway. An upsloping runway gives the opposite effect. One will see more of the runway than normal. A correct flight path, which is 3 degrees to flat terrain in front of the runway, will give the impression that one is too high and going to overshoot. If one is not aware of the upslope, one may fly lower in order to comply with the expected visual model of being 3 degrees above an assumed flat runway. However, by doing so, one's actual height above the ground is too low, and the resultant possible flight path will end short of the runway. The error in both up and downsloping runways was in measuring the 3-degree approach angle from the runway rather than from the flat terrain before the runway. Similar illusions occur when the runway is flat, but the approaching terrain slopes. If it slopes down to the runway, A normal 3-degree approach angle to the level runway will result in the terrain feeling closer than it should, and so one thinks one is too low. The temptation is to fly higher in order to maintain greater separation from the ground, but this will result in an approach which is higher than 3 degrees to the level runway and a consequent landing point too far down the runway. Upsloping terrain creates the impression that one is too high, as the flight approach angle with the ground is more than 3 degrees. In fact, the approach is correct because the angle with the flat runway, shown by the red dotted line, is 3 degrees. Because the pilot feels he is too high above the ground, he may reduce height, causing him to land short of the runway. The error in both up and downsloping terrain is to measure the 3-degree approach angle from the actual terrain level, rather than the extended centerline of the flat runway surface. The width of a runway may also cause illusions, as the pilot tries to reconcile the present image with what he is used to seeing. A runway that is wider than one is used to will give the impression that one is closer to it than one actually is. This can lead to a flare at too great a height, a stall, and a subsequent heavy landing. A narrow runway will present less tarmac than one is used to, leading one to believe that one is further away than in reality. In response, one may pitch down and the runway may arrive sooner than expected, with another hard landing. A long runway will present too large an image, giving the impression that one is higher than one in fact is, causing one to put the nose down to lose height, resulting in an undershoot as with an upsloping runway. A short runway presents too small an image, making one believe that one is lower than in reality, leading to an early flare, stall, and hard landing. The general topography of the airfield will also be relevant. For example, if a pilot is used to approaching over high trees, then an approach over lower trees may create the illusion of being higher above the ground than in reality. A pilot may then be tempted to fly lower to achieve his usual mental model of a good approach. He should, of course, be looking for a correct mental model of the runway, not the terrain. Runway lights can create the illusion of being closer to the runway if they are very bright, and thereby on a steeper glide path, leading to an early flare and stall. On the other hand, low-intensity lights create the impression of being further away, and so the pilot may fly a shallower glide path, leading to an overshoot. Having avoided all these illusions, all one has to do is land safely, which is still not assured. Once the aircraft is established on a correct glide path, it is relatively easy to maintain that glide path by keeping to the aiming point, for example the runway numbers, at a fixed position on the windscreen. The danger, however, is that an inadvertent loss of speed and height may cause the pilot to put the nose down in order to regain the mental picture. This would result in a further loss of height and undershoot. If the final part of the approach is correct, there is a texture flow away from the aiming point. That is, at the center point of one's focus, the image will be clear. Edges and lines will be clear, and the material texture, such as grass, will not be vague. But adjoining areas will appear to move away from the center and become increasingly blurred.